Hi, ladies. Welcome to your next workout. Today, we are going to be strengthening our core. So, we are going to do a full circuit dedicated to just those deeper core stabilizing muscles. We will be doing 6 exercises. That's it. We're going to do 4 rounds and we're going to take minimal breaks between each round. So, we're going to get right into it. We'll do a quick little warm up. I'll demo the exercises and then we are going to get started. So, coming to your workout space, let's warm up a little bit. I'm only going to be using a band today. You do not have to use a band. You can do this just with your body and your mat. Make sure you have some water handy. And let's come into it all fours. Bring those big toes together. Bring the knees nice and wide. Send the hips back towards the heels. Stretch those arms out. Hold here in child's pose. Start to connect to your breath. Nice deep breath in. And slow breath out. As we inhale, pressing through the palms, we're going to come forward right into an upward facing dog. So just get a little bit of stretch through that front body, start to wake up the back. And then coming right back into our child's pose. Inhale right back into that upward facing dog. And exhale to child's pose. Hold here for a few breaths, sway the hips from side to side. One more time, inhale, flowing forward. Press into those palms. Exhale back to child's pose. Good. Coming into a seat. Just a little teeny tiny warm up before we get started. So we are going to be doing 6 exercises. 2 of those exercises are the left side and the right side. So just make sure you are moving slow with control, really protecting that lumbar area. So when we say those deeper core stabilizers, working those are going to help with posture, it's going to help with pelvic floor strength, and then it's going to help with making sure that your compound lifts, so your squats, your deadlifts, all of those big major lifts are more supported, more stable. So one of the big things when we come into more of the core stabilizing is the position of our pelvis. So when we are here and there's a big gap between the lower back and the mat, we're in an anterior tilt of our pelvis. So our pelvis is tilting forward. We have that lower back arch. Let's come back to a neutral pelvis. You should still have a little bit of a gap between the lower back and the mat. But what we really want to do here on these deeper core stabilizers is flatten that back to the mat. So we're actually coming into a posterior tilt. You're going to feel your tailbone tilt back, the core scoops in, and I want you to envision while we're here that the core is zipping itself together. So we're not sucking the tummy in, we're bringing it in and together. So put your hands on your sides and really visualize those fingers coming together as you tilt that tailbone. So I don't want the top ribs flaring. When we do that, we're going to come into that arch, keep those top ribs down, tailbone tucked under. So this is going to be pretty much the foundation and the basis for the majority of the movements we're going to do today. So we're going to start off with a dead bug variation, keeping the body just like this. We're lifting our knees up, so it's going to get harder now because we don't have the feet on the ground. Our head's going to lift up. Our right hand is pressed against that left leg, left arm up, and our right leg and our left arm are going to come down at the same time. And then you're using this right hand against the opposite leg to make sure that leg doesn't come into center. You can notice how my left leg's not moving, just that right is coming in and out. We're going to do 35 seconds on that side right before we go into another 35 seconds on the opposite side. So we're not going to be alternating here. We're going to be really focusing on one side, slow, controlled movement. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is if you need to take a moment and reset the pelvis, do that. Pull it in, upper ribs down, You can keep your head up for this or down if it's too much of a strain on your neck. But I really want you to be focusing on that movement coming from the lower core, the hip flexors, everything's pulled up nice and tight within. The next move we're going to do is a side plank with a hip dip and an abduction. So a little bit more of a compound movement here. So we are going to be placing a band around our thighs. If you don't have a band, or if this move is too difficult, you don't have to use it. So we're going to come into a modified side plank on our forearm. So here, shoulder is stacked over the elbow, and we're coming onto our, so we'll start on our left side, left knee. So lift the hip up, and we're going to start in this position. This is our modified plank. We're going to dip our hip down, and as we lift back up, we're going to lift that right leg up. Come down, so it's more of a fluid motion. Down. So we're dipping that hip. This right shoulder is staying up. We're not allowing it to roll forward. Dip down, come up. Dip down, come up, and we're having that abduction. We're going to do just one side and then the other. So doing both sides, we're already 4 exercises in. Exercise number 5, we're coming into a tabletop. So even when you're in your tabletop, I want you to think that same setup. So you can be in a table, shoulder over wrist, hips over knees, and you can still have that arch. So I've just let my tailbone fall forward. My pelvis is tilting down. So I want to pull that in, upper ribs come in, lower core pulls nice and tight. I now have a nice flat back. I'm going to lift my knees up. You have the option of holding here, or we're going to come into opposite shoulder tap. So as you start to move the upper body, I want you to be very aware. So as you're here, if the core falls, keep it pulled in the entire time. You need to set it down, reset, come back up. Please do that. I want you to think form over getting to the end of the set. So deeper core stabilizer is going to be fatiguing for your core, especially if you're not used to really firing these muscles up. But they're so important to have these nice, strong muscles, especially as we age and our posture starts to become a little bit less optimal. We're starting to lose muscle mass. We really need to keep these core stabilizers nice and strong. Helps with that pelvic floor as well. So if you're jumping, sneezing, and you feel some bladder leakage, these exercises are going to be very good for your pelvic floor health. The last exercise, we're coming into our plank. So anytime we're in plank or we're in a tabletop, I want you to think joint over joint. So shoulder over wrist. We're going to step back. Again, don't let that core sink down. Pull it up. Slight little pelvic tilt. And we're going to very slow and control. Bring the right knee across to the left elbow. Send it back. Alternating. So very slow and controlled here. We're not doing really quick mountain climb or crossovers. Think slowing it down, really feeling that contraction of the core. So I'm already warmed up. Heart rate's already up there. So we're not going to warm up too much because we don't really need to do too much to kind of get that core going. Plus, we don't want to fatigue it because 4 rounds here, even though they're only 6 exercises, will feel very difficult. All right, so we're going to be working for 35 seconds, 20-second rest in between, 4 laps. So we're only going to take a very quick break between those laps for a little sip of water, and then we're coming right back into this. So just do your best. You can take breaks anytime you need to, really focus on that proper foundation and reset as many times as you have to until you build that core strength up. So we're going to get started. We're in that dead bug variation. So opposite hand is going to be pressing on the opposite thigh, holding it in place, while the other leg and arm extend out and back in, slow and controlled, lower back stays grounded. So we have 10 seconds to get into position. So we're starting here, tuck that pelvis under. I'm going to tuck my chin into my chest. right hand presses on the left thigh and the right leg, left arm are coming out and in. It's very easy to lose your core here. So breathe. Keep those ribs from flaring. We only have 15 seconds left on this side. Press that hand into the thigh. And you can try with your chin tucked in. Maybe the next round you're not. And rest. You can go ahead and hug those knees into the chest. Maybe rock from side to side if that feels good. So if you had your chin tucked in for the right side moving, let's tuck it in for the left. And then you can modify the next round if you need to. We're right back into it. So left hand on the right thigh, right arm up, left leg and right arm are moving simultaneously together. Lower back staying grounded. We're not letting those ribs flare. You're gonna feel these in the hip flexor too. If you find that you're losing your back about here, just bring that leg out to where you feel you can maintain your control. Your core should be on fire already. 5 seconds left. And rest, bring those knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. We have 20 seconds to put that band. If you're using the band, I'm using just a light resistance. I don't want too much resistance here. We're coming into side plank, starting on our left side. Shoulder over wrist. We're on that knee for support. Let's start up, dip down, pump up, and we're lifting that right knee up. You can keep your feet together if you'd like. Keep that right shoulder from rolling forward. So we're working our obliques and hitting a little bit of that glute med as well. Woo! This one is tougher than it looks. I like to put my hands on my core just to make sure I'm not losing that connection. Sometimes that touching the muscle and rest that we're trying to keep nice and active. It's very helpful to touch it. You can feel it activating. You can feel that mind-muscle connection happening. So we're flipping over onto our right side. Again, just make sure your shoulder is directly under that elbow or over that elbow. On the right side, lift up. Let's start here, dip down, and come into that abduction. So it's that fluid motion as we lift up, that knee lifts. You can take off your resistance band if you need to at any point. Heart should be racing. You should be feeling this in your glute, your stabilizers, as well as your core. And rest. Woo! That was tough. Okay. Coming into the tabletop for our bear hold shoulder taps. Again, you can hold just the bear or you can tap. If you're holding just the bear, that core is pulling up. Let's lift up. Our knees are about 2 inches off the ground. You have the option to hold here, or you're going to start to tap. Try not to sway the body here. We don't want that. We want the body to stay where it is. Core is holding us in place. We're looking down. We're not straining our neck. Core is in. Slight tuck of that tailbone. Good. Keep going. Right to the beat. And rest. Woo. Bear holds always get me. All right, we have 15 seconds. Last exercise is our plank crossovers. Woo. This is tough. All right, 3, 2, 1. Coming up into a plank. Let's start with our left knee crossing to that right elbow. Back and opposite. Good. Hitting those obliques again. This is one that you're going to have to take a rest. If you need to, stretch into child's pose just for a moment. Roll the wrist if you have to. Come back up. Good. Don't let that core sag. And rest. Holy moly, even though there's only 6 exercises, we're actually only 4 in total, 2 are opposite-sided ones. Still getting my heart rate up nice and high. Grab some water, take a quick little break. We're coming right back into it. Oh, don't drink too much. It's never fun to do core work with a belly full of water jiggling around in there as I am trying to digest my giant bowl of breakfast. Wasn't a good idea either. Oh, all right. How's everybody feeling? I hope good. Heart rate's coming down nicely. We're coming right back into that dead bug variation. Remember, you have the option not to tuck that chin in. Head can stay flat if you're feeling a little bit of that tension in the neck. Okay. Woo. Here we go. 10 seconds to get in place. Round 2, here we come, down on our back. Good. So right hand, left leg, and opposite arm and leg are extending down. That hand is adding a little bit of resistance on the thigh, pushing that thigh away, but that thigh is not allowing itself to move. It is pushing right back. So you can feel that tension building on that side. Keep that lower back grounding. Reset your pelvis if you have to. Woo! Good, good, good. And rest. Pull those knees into the chest. Rock. Do whatever feels good to release some of that tension. All right, 10 seconds. Let's get ready. Opposite side. Here we go, okay? Chin tucks in if you're doing that. Left hand, right leg. And here we go. I find this side much more difficult to keep my core in place. So I need to very much be watching and feeling for that lift off of my back. And if you feel one side's much more difficult, try just moving the leg. Take the arm out of it. Maybe that hand can rest behind your head, giving your neck a little bit of support. Press that thigh. Don't let your form fail. And rest. That one gets my lower core right fired up. All right. Grab your band if you're using it. I highly recommend you get some of these fabric bands. They are so good with just adding another level of resistance to your body. Okay, here we go. Lift up, abduct, down. Up, hip dip, into that abduction. Good. That right shoulder staying stacked. We're not letting it roll forward. Core in. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. Don't build that tension. Good. Ooh. Feel in this one. One more. Let's go. And rest. Flip over. I always sequence these workouts and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a nice, gentle, relaxing workout. And then we start doing it and I'm like, holy, I am kicking my own butt. Okay, here we go. Lift up. We're in that modified side plank. Dip down, abduct. Breathe. Breathe away. That's the hardest part of that exercise. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift. Move with your breath. If you find you're moving too quick to connect it to the breath, slow the movement down. One more, let's go. I don't know what's more tired right now. My shoulders, my core, my glutes. All right, we are coming into our bear hold. My least favorite exercise of the entire world. In our table, proper alignment, toes curled under. Let's lift those knees. You have the option of holding. I'm going to hold just right here. My shoulders are very burnt out. So my core is pulled in, not letting those ribs flare. Good job. And if you've ever done an in-person class or training with me, you'll know I'm very big on proper form with that one. I'll come around and put a heavy plate on your back. Make sure it's not tilting from the side when you're doing your shoulder taps. All right, plank crossover. So we're firing up our obliques. This is our last one, and then we get a little bit of a break. Good. Deep breathing. Oh, I think I lied. This one's my worst, my least favorite today. It's that burnout back to back of my shoulders. And rest. Holy moly. Sometimes I regret adding exercises where they are in the sequence, but we do our best. We modify when we need to. We take a little break if we have to. We're not compromising our form. Slow down your breath. Use that slow breath to really control that heart rate. Good. 2 more rounds. We are halfway. Grab another little sip of water. Hopefully you have your electrolyte. All right. Are we ready for our dead bug? Left, right, side plank, hip dip plus abduction, left and right. Bear holds, maybe you're adding the shoulder tap back in, and those plank crossovers. Holy crap, doing those slow and controlled are so much tougher than when we're using that momentum of that almost mountain climber motion to get it done. But taking that momentum out, which means our muscles are doing the work, flow, connection, proper form, bang on for supporting the entire core. Remember, our core is not just those 6 packs in the front. We have our obliques, we have our lower back, our lumbar area. All of this works together for proper core stability and strength. So doing these exercises, incorporating these movements are so important. All right, are we ready? Let's go. Round 3, 10 seconds on the clock to get into place. So I modified my last one to use my hand behind my head, and I'm just using my legs because I'm finding my core is a little bit weaker today. I did a full body yesterday. I had a lot of legs in it. So anytime we're doing those big major muscle groups, our core is working. So my core a little fatigued. Remember, some of these exercises can be super humbling. So we have to leave ego off the mat. We have to try to put aside that I should be doing this. I need to power through and really connect into how your body's feeling, how are your and rest, and how your muscles are feeling. And if you're pushing through and powering through, how is your form? Is it optimal? Doing core exercises and not connecting in properly can lead to a little bit of lower back issue. Okay, opposite hand, here we go. I had a low back injury this year doing a deadlift. So I am very aware of what does not feel good, what feels proper. So very much tuning in. And trust me, it's humbling for me too, as I'm here and you're watching me do this and I have to take modifications. So just remember, it's all about connecting into your body and rest. Woo! A lot of people have this big misconception of what holistic is. And they think it's just, eating super healthy. But what holistic actually is incorporating a whole body approach. Let's come into our side plank. So whole body, and let's go, is the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. So we can't just be focusing on this physical body without tapping in to the rest of ourselves. Breathe. We have 10 seconds. One more and rest. Let's flip over. Oh man, this one is very fiery. I think I should rename it as Deep for Fire. All right, we're on the opposite side. Here we go. Lift up and abduct. Dip down. Breathe. Keep that core connection. Good. We're almost done. Round 3, guys. 2 more exercises. We got this. Can we get 1 more and rest? Ooh, that was tough. Okay. Don't rest for too long. We're coming into our bear hold. I am not going to be doing the shoulder taps again. I'm going to just take the bear hold. Okay, here we go. Remember, pull our core in, lift our knees up, hold here. You can add that top if you'd like. Gaze is down. Don't lift those knees too high. I don't want you up here. I want that core working to hold you. Don't let go of that connection. Five seconds. And drop those knees. Shake out the wrist if you have to, circle them. Woo! All right. Plank, crossover, slow, control, feel those obliques fire. Here we go. In our plank, crossing over. Harder to talk in this one. Don't let your bum come up into down dog. I was really trying to push myself to do the whole 35 seconds, but holy moly. And rest. That one is tough after those bear holds. Okay, as always, there's only a few exercises here. I would love to know which one here you loved, which one you could really feel firing that core, which one you hate, why you hate it. Usually we hate it because there's a little bit of a weakness or an imbalance somewhere, or the workout we did the day or two before on a specific muscle group is making that one much harder. But most oftentimes women are not predominantly strong in the upper body. So holding things like bear holds and planks are much harder for our shoulders. We fatigue a lot quicker. To make sure you're giving yourself a little grace to just be where you are today in this workout and really appreciate that you've taken the time to even show up for yourself. Always so important. only positive self-talk through our workout. Even if you're just new to exercising and 4 rounds is a little too much, you stop at 2, appreciate the fact that you began and started somewhere. Set a little goal, come back to this specific workout, and eventually build up, be able to hit all 4 rounds. So we can set those little goals. We can turn our challenges into positivity and make sure that that negative self-talk isn't creeping in, because it has absolutely no place when we are trying to do all of this positive for our entire body. Remember, doing these workouts isn't just about the physical. We are here in a mental challenge. Are we allowing ourselves to give up? Are we fighting, those thoughts in our mind that are saying, this is too hard. I don't want to keep going. I'm tired. See if you can work through a little bit of that if it's truly just that little bit of mental blockage. My husband always says, when your mind is telling you to give up, you have at least 70% more to push through physically. So every time I'm trying to do a run, not a good runner, those words always come back, that this is my mental body telling me to give up because it's hard, but my physical body has more to give. So we can turn this into more of a strength building than it's just for our body, because doing anything hard physically is strengthening more than just this physical body we have. And then you can bring all of that same resiliency outside of your exercise when you're faced with some kind of adversity in your life and you have that mental strength to keep going. So that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love teaching women fitness along with nutrition and that root cause approach, because this can go so much further than just that physical strength. Okay, enough of my rant. Let's go. I gave you guys a little bit more of a break. I'm still modifying. I'm going to use my left hand behind my head. My right hand is on my left thigh. I'm just going to be using my right leg. Here we go. Lower back, grounding. I'm trying my hardest now that my core is fatigued, not to let that back lower or lift. Trying to imagine it's gluing to that mat. My belly button is driving through my body, reaching behind me, anchoring me down. We are almost there. 4, 3, 2, and oh goodness, rest. Okay. Woo. Don't rest for too long. Don't get too comfortable. I'm going to do the same on my opposite side. And my right hand is making just a little cradle for my head, just to help keep that chin tucked into the chest. I find it's easier to keep my core engaged. And my left leg is moving. Let's go, ladies. So I started my timer on my watch at the beginning of our quick little warm up. So we've been working for 33 minutes. That's including our demo of the exercises. We've got this. Only a few more minutes left, and then we're going to cool down, rest. Okay. Let's come up for our side plank. Hip dip. Woo. On our left side. Okay. Left shoulder over wrist. We're on that left knee. Hands on the belly so we can feel that core engaged. Lift up, abduct, down. Good. So you should be feeling the left glute firing as well. When we hold here and abduct out, this is stabilizing us. We got it. We have 2 more. Let's try to get through. And rest. Flip over. Almost done. We are at the halfway point here. And then we'll do a little cool down. and we'll leave and get on with the rest of our day. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's start going. Dip down, abduct as we lift up. As we lift up, our obliques are working, glute med is working on that abduction, lower. Good. Woo. Proud of you guys. This is a tough workout. Proud of myself for talking through the whole thing. One more and rest. Sometimes it's super hard to do the workout and talk at the same time. Okay, really apprehensive about going into those bear holds, but we've got it. If you're still doing those shoulder taps, you're an absolute beast. Way to go. Give yourself a little pat on the back for that because these are hard. Okay, core in. Let's lift up. Remember, we're hovering just about 2 inches. Halfway. You need to reset. You're dropping down. Bring that belly back in. Lift back up. 10 seconds. 2, 1. Okay. Roll my shoulders back a few times. Getting ready for these plank crossovers. Ladies, it's our last exercise. Last one. That's it. I promise. 4 rounds was a lot. Here we go. In our plank, you ready? Stepping back, and we're crossing over. Slow and with control. Good. Oh boy. This one's a toughie. 15 seconds. Do we have it? Can we get through the end? We did it, ladies. Oh my goodness, that one was so tough. I was sitting here thinking, oh, we're just gonna have a nice, easy workout, just rolling around on the mat. No, that was way tougher than I expected. But we did it. And it's over. And we can rest. So we worked a little bit of our glute med. We're going to come down to our back. We're going to stretch through a reclined figure 4. Just a nice, easy, gentle stretch. Let's bring the right ankle over the left thigh. And we're going to bring that left thigh into the chest. Take those fingers, interlace them behind the left thigh and pull it in nice and tight. You can feel that deep, juicy stretch. If mobility is a little bit of an issue, you can always grab a towel, wrapping it behind your thigh and holding onto either end. If you have a yoga strap, if you have a belt. And let's really connect in with that breath. Notice if your heart's still racing, if you're a little bit out of breath. And start to inhale nice and deeply through the nose. And slowly exhale through the nose. Keeping the breath nice and controlled. And then notice your entire body start to relax. And switch legs. Right foot comes down, left ankle crosses over. We're bringing that right thigh into the body. Ooh, it's tight on this side for me. All right, shoulders are soft. Notice if you're clenching your jaw here. Even though we're cooling down, working through the hips can still be kind of sticky emotionally, physically. Notice if your jaw is clenched or if your brows are furrowed. See if you can relax a little bit into the stretch. And come back to that breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Good. And release that right foot down, uncross the left. Bring both knees into the chest. Give yourself a great big hug. Wrap your arms around your thighs. Bring those knees into the chest. Before you move out of this embrace, think of something positive that you felt during this workout. And I want you to end your exercise on that positive note. Maybe it was just getting to your mat or to your workout space. Maybe it was pushing yourself to complete the entire workout. Maybe you're celebrating that you did one round of bear hold shoulder taps. Whatever it is, whatever you're proud of, really let that settle in. Let's cross the ankles. We can bring the hands behind the thighs and we're going to rock right up to seated. As you come up to seated, just take a moment and survey the state of your body. Are you feeling a little bit more relaxed and centered after we came into that breath at the end of that tough workout? Do you feel like you could just lay there and relax in that stillness? That's what we're trying to achieve after that tough workout, is bringing that balance back to the body so that we can carry on throughout the rest of our day in that state of equilibrium versus that state of heightened stress. Let's take a moment here in this comfortable seated position and just come into 4 breaths together. This time on our exhale, I want you to sigh all the air out. I want you to let go of any tension, any tightness, any negativity that's still lingering with that exhale, that sigh, release it all. Take a nice deep breath through the nose and sigh. Again, inhale and sigh. Again, inhale breath and sigh. This time on the inhale, I want you to hold that breath until you cannot hold it anymore, creating tension. Inhale, hold, 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 and sigh. Let it all go. Gently open your eyes. Thank you guys so much for working out with me. I hope you enjoyed this workout. As always, send me a message. I'd love to hear what you liked, what was really challenging, what you're working on, how your mindset was throughout this workout. Send me all of the messages. Until I see you guys again, have a wonderful day.